Good evening. It's Rani Yoga Devi coming to you from my home. It's late on Friday evening. It's about 10 p.m. Not late, but late. Time to meditate and go off to bed after that, really. Um, I'm checking in with you about a couple of things. First, I want to get out of the way this whole thing that the anti-aging thing that we're doing. It's really kind of interesting when you look at the YouTube account. There's been some people that have just not followed anymore, and I think it's really funny because a lot of the people have requested a lot of beauty tips and all that sort of stuff. So I kind of think it's funny that that's happening. But there might be some men that are on the account that are saying, "Well, this isn't for me." And don't worry, this is not what my account's going to become. This is just like a little thing I'm doing for a little while, um, because I think it's important. Because honestly, as a woman, you are judged every single time you go outside of your house. And the better you look without having to put makeup on, the better you feel. Because you don't feel like you have to rely on that makeup. I don't have any makeup on today except lipstick. That's it. Nothing. And there's no eyeliner. There's no eye makeup. There's no mascara. There's no nothing. This is just like pure my skin. And your skin shows what's happening inside of your body. It's not just taking care of your skin. It's reflecting what's happening inside of the body. What you're eating, whether you're exercising or not. And I know that not everybody can exercise, but everybody can do just a little something sitting in a chair or on the couch. Everybody can. I've taught people with disabilities. I taught people who couldn't exercise, or they were told they couldn't exercise. And that's because the people that they were working with didn't want to teach them. They didn't want to take the time. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with over the years who should have been exercising, and they were told that they shouldn't bother. There's no need to bother exercising because they didn't for many years, and now no point. And it's never, ever, ever too late to start exercising. It's never too late to start learning something. I just think it's so important to pass that on, because a lot of people really do feel that, after a certain age, it's no point to do certain things. Well, if I thought that, I sure as heck wouldn't have started a YouTube account in my mid-50s. That just wouldn't have been something I would consider if I thought I was, has been or whatever. That sort of thing. Anyhow, so this was an interesting week. Did a lot of things that I haven't done in a long, long time. I got some plants given to myself and my partner, and while he was at work, I planted all these plants in front of his house. And I've been in an apartment for so long that I haven't planted anything in a long time. And boy, did I feel it by the end of the time that I was spent today. It was only a couple hours, but I felt like, boy, I needed to get in the jacuzzi after that. Jacuzzi bubbles everywhere. It was great. Doing something really physical and then giving yourself a nice stretch in a jacuzzi, you really can't beat it. It's really lovely. So, really like that. So, today, no jacuzzi. I'm at my place. Wow, poor me. But anyhow, I got up this morning and I had a client who wanted to pay me for some services that I rendered to him. And it was a couple weeks ago that we had the session, and I kind of wrote him and said, let's get this taken care of. I've sent you an invoice. How would you like to pay? Kind of a thing. And he said, well, I'll try to send it over by Tangerine. Tangerine is a bank account that's only online, so there's no fees. And I have a Tangerine account. He had a Tangerine account. We tried for several hours to make that work. It didn't work. And the reason it didn't work was because you have to have a checking account in order to transfer funds from your account to somebody else's. And I did, but he didn't. So we moved on from there. And then we thought maybe we'd try PayPal. I hadn't used PayPal in a long time. I can't even remember how long, but I did have an account on file and a password and all of that. But it'd been so long, they probably deleted that account because I couldn't sign into it. So I started a new one. And boy, did I have to jump through a lot of hoops for that. I mean, they wanted a passport. They wanted your firstborn. They wanted to know so much about you that it was absolutely ridiculous. Photo ID. Like seriously? I get it in a way that they have to be a bit more strict than they had in the past, because they've got to make sure that people are legitimate in starting these accounts and all that sort of stuff, and security is an issue. Security, I totally agree with, but this was over the moon and back again, honey. And I just, I spent most of the day dealing with this, and it's still not done, because they want too small amounts of money that they just deposit into a bank account that I have no way to find out what it was, because I couldn't use the Tangerine, which I could access online. So I put it into a credit union account that has no online capacity. So, la banana que cavo! Makes me more Italian. And not really Italian, just grew up around a lot of Italians. And, you just have to laugh at the end of the day, because these challenging days, you're just kind of, well, I somehow made it through that. Mm-hmm. Not over, but almost. So that was my day. And I'm really ready to go and meditate. Slough it all off. I'm going to leave you with a skill for when you're stressed. I think I used this several times today. I haven't used it in quite a while, but I used it several times today. And this is called a 10 exhale kind of it's like a ha breath, but it's not really a ha. You do 10 times. If you have to do it around other people, I suggest you grab a Kleenex in front of your nose to do it. But if you're doing it yourself, you don't have to do that. So all you're going to do is 10 times, same sound. 10 times, same sound. Ha, 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 ha. And so what that does is it gets rid of whatever was bothering you, just moves it into the background and allows you to move on. And the story behind it is that when a child is upset about something that's really minor, that child will go, and walk away once he or she realizes that they're not going to get what they wanted. Say, little boy's going up to mom and say, "Mommy, I want to have a chocolate bar." And it's just before dinner, and mom's like, "No, you can't have a chocolate bar before dinner." No, darling, you can't have a chocolate bar before dinner, because they'd be bouncing off the walls. I just can't do that. If you're smart and you're going to give your children chocolate at all, candy bar, give it to them earlier in the day so that they can work it off. But you can't tell the child, well, I gotta give it to you at a time when you can work it off. That's not how it works. You just have to deal with it at the moment. It's like, no, no chocolate bar right now. You know? So that's what kids do. And you know what? As adults, it's a good skill to have too. We just have to do it 10 times instead of one. Because as that kid just gets up and goes, ha! Walks away, we got to do about 10 times. And we might have to do it again a few times if the issue comes up again. But it's okay. We're human. We all have days that are challenging. Even me. Today was a really good challenge. Really, really good challenge. Setting up a PayPal account. I never imagined would be so difficult. But everything seems to be getting more difficult these days. Everything seems to be getting more complicated. And I think that, I don't know whether people are just justifying their jobs by making things more difficult, but it seems like customer service is kind of going out the window because policies are getting so strict in a lot of aspects of society, especially where finances are involved. So it'd be interesting to hear whether anybody else has had a similar kind of experience trying to get accounts going and stuff. I'm so glad all my banking accounts are set up and everything, and they've been in place for a long time, because if I were a young person coming into the banking world right now, having to jump through the hoops that the younger people are having to jump through right now, I'd probably be a basket case trying to do it. So I don't know. There's something to be said for being older and wiser. On that note, I'll bid you adieu. Have a nice week. I'm going to be leaving Leamington for a couple days, not too long, just a couple days. I have to go to Toronto to see my respirologist, who I haven't been able to see in a while. One of the downsides of being in a small town is that there's not as much access to medical care. It's kind of sad, really, that when I first moved here, coming back from Toronto, where I'd been for 38 years, and I had like so many doctors, specialists for this, a specialist for that, a specialist for this, and a specialist for that. And, now I got to go back to Toronto to see my specialists because there aren't any available here. The closest specialists in many areas are in London, Ontario. And London is a 2-hour drive and Toronto's a 4-hour drive. So London would be all brand new people. And, when you've got people that work well for you, sometimes it's better to travel to Toronto to see them. And that's the case with this respirologist. He's really, really, really good. And then you're going to go, oh, what are you seeing a respirologist for? You look like you have good lung capacity. I do. But that's because I do a lot of yoga and I do a lot of pranayama. And I was born with one lung smaller than the other. My left lung's quite a bit hypoplastic, quite a bit smaller than the other. And it doesn't give me too much trouble, but I do have to be careful because I can get lung infections in that lung if I'm not careful. My respiratory infections are easier for me to get than for other people, just because of my physiology. So I do have to be, careful to make sure I get my enough sleep and do meditation and practice my yoga and, keep myself nice and healthy so that my little, I don't even want to say weaknesses. I don't know, my little health issues. I don't even want to say health issues, trying to find a positive way to spin that, and it's not coming because I'm too tired. But what your issues are with your body, with your health, you want to really make sure you pay attention to those weaknesses in your physiology. You want to pay attention to them. You don't want to let those go, because those things are very, very important to take care of. Most of our health is pretty good, but there's always one area where most of us have to be a little careful. I have to be careful of my throat, and I have to be careful of my lungs. But the throat comes first. If you're speaking, and speaking clearly, getting your message across, things are flowing well, then the energy in the throat is usually pretty good. But when something starts to get stressful or communications don't work very well, that's when your throat is really challenged. And my throat was challenged today, let me tell you. And I'll just have to be very careful. Take lots of vitamin C, use lots of cranberry, all that. Drink lots of juices, eat lots of little oranges and tangerines and stuff like that for the next couple days to make sure that everything is, maybe take some echinacea even. I don't have any of my AI 10. Well, I can't even remember what it's called. I haven't had it in a while. I really have to get this immune system stuff going again. I haven't taken it for a while. And AIE 10. Yeah, that's it. AIE 10 is what it is. I have to order that. Been meaning to for a while, but it's been a little bit crazy. Lots going on, lots of changes and stuff. But suffice it to say, some things that are changing are really for the better and growing me in a good direction. And other things that are changing are things that are just, life changes, people around you change, and, people move out of your life and new people move in, and I'm liking the new people that have moved in, for sure. Anyhow, I hope you all have a lovely, lovely weekend. Take care, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye for now. Ronnie Yoga Devi, signing off.